Hi, it's Lee, and welcome to the Tesla Economist. The future of Tesla depends solely on how much Tesla can ramp up the 4680 sales. Or so it may feel. I mean, we've done countless models on how much profit we think 4680s will bring to Tesla, and how many vehicles Tesla can produce as a result. But are we just crossing our fingers, hoping this ramp happens eventually, of which it is already a whole year behind, whilst the future of our investment relies solely on this progress? Equally, some investors have similar hopes for FSD. Are we merely using our money to bet on whether Tesla can ramp up 4680s fast enough to hit a run rate with enough cell capacity for the Model Y to hit high volume production in Texas and Berlin, and then the almighty Cybertruck? A pivotal point for Tesla. Once Tesla demonstrates to the world they are capable of making a decent quantity of Cybertrucks, a vehicle now rumoured to have in excess of 1.5 million pre-orders. Yet we are seeing the production line for the Cybertruck in the making at Texas. We saw an enormous 9-ton gigapress for the vehicle. And now we're seeing a new 9-ton gigapress that Hydra are currently assembling. Just as a guess, one for the front casting of the Cybertruck and another for the rear casting. For a vehicle that some say is vaporware, everything appears to be happening as if you'd expect it to, aside from this 4680 ramp. But there is hope for the 4680 lines. As I've said before, it sounds like Cato Road is at about 40% capacity, and if Texas can hit that rate too, then we're just about at high enough run rate for volume production for Cybertruck and Model Y at Texas. And we have until perhaps about 12 months until we need to see that rate. So that's plenty of time. Cells are still the limiting factor for EVs though. So why would Tesla bet the future of the growth of this company on a revolutionary new technology with so much at stake? Why would they drop all other cell growth and let everything ride on this? But who said they have? Who said that Tesla no longer want to work with their current partners and expand their production further? We already know that Tesla are working heavily with Panasonic to help them produce 4680 cells, albeit not tabless or dry battery electrodes, but still a lower cost alternative to the 2170 cells. And if Panasonic invest heavily over the next few years and go all in, perhaps they can hit a 100 gigawatt hour a year run rate within time, which may not sound like a lot relative to some of the numbers Tesla throw around, but here's another number. That's enough cells for about 1.5 million cars a year. You know, about the entire run rate Tesla have achieved this year. It all adds up. But Panasonic is a relatively small supplier to Tesla when compared to CATL these days, especially considering this latest ramp up we saw in Shanghai. This was due to CATL purchasing a factory nearby Tesla and retrofitting it to a supposed potential 80 gigawatt hours a year capacity. And is that it? Has CATL just finished supplying Tesla after that? Has Tesla hit peak demand for their LFP vehicles? Or is it possible that their cells work so well with Tesla that they might continue to expand this partnership? Now we know that CATL have created a new type of cell chemistry, a ternary cathode combined with an iron, that uses no nickel nor cobalt, which makes enough difference to increase the cell energy density, yet at still the same cost per kilowatt hour. It's known as the M3P cell, and no, it's not quite the same as an LMFP cell. Combined with new manufacturing techniques, it should be able to get a Model 3 to a range in excess of 300 miles, which certainly looks good on paper, especially when the battery cost is the same as an LFP battery. CATL is already the largest battery manufacturer, so why should they slow down now? Well, I keep referring to their new factory they're building. It looks absolutely enormous. It supposedly has an 80 gigawatt hour a year capacity, but it looks bigger, so maybe even more, along with lots of additional space to expand. And the first phase is meant to be in production early next year. There's no denying that things move fast in China. This factory will be supplying Tesla. It has even been built near Giga Shanghai as a result. And what other automaker could consume this many cells? Of course this factory is for Tesla. What other automaker can even grow at such a pace with BEVs? BYD, you might think, but they use their own in-house cells anyway. I've been saying recently that the Tesla magic doesn't always occur where you're looking. Sometimes it is too distracting, like how we're focused on the 4680 ramp. Then suddenly, Tesla may get an additional 80 gigawatt hours a year from another supplier. Okay, sure, I don't even know if all those cells are for Tesla, but either way, we know there is one massive CATL battery factory being constructed, which will no doubt benefit Tesla in a big way. I have been struggling though to work out where Tesla will use these cells. They already ramped up Shanghai just recently, and they were supposed to build a new factory there, which I thought was going to make perfect sense to consume this additional cell supply. Yet there appear to be no signs for that, and this factory will start delivering soon. So where will these cells go? Well, one place is the new Megapack factory with the alleged 40 gigawatt hours a year capacity. I would however say that the cells from this new CATL facility would be for vehicles, and the Megapacks would get the regular LFP cells, as energy density is not so important for energy. And 40 gigawatt hours a year is a lot of cells still, so that supply needs to come from somewhere. That's still not enough to support this new CATL supply though. So what makes sense to me is this talk of the new Model 3 revamp, and that potentially these new cells from CATL will be used in this new revamp. I think Tesla can create a mid-range Model 3 with them, yet produced at a lower cost than the current Model 3 rear-wheel drive. In fact, they may even end the Model 3 rear-wheel drive version and replace it with this, and deploy all those other LFP cells into energy, along with the rear-wheel drive Model Y. I'm not sure. It's hard to know how the whole cell supply system will work with each model and keep it consistent and tidy. As Elon has said before, it's the Baskin-Robbins scenario of 31 flavours, and they just have to make do. Tesla is however forward-looking, and Elon said at Battery Day the future should only be structural battery packs. Therefore, rather than building new factories to cater to these cells, Tesla could increase production of their existing factories, which is what the new Model 3 revamp will do. Making a Model 3 with structural battery packs and a front and rear casting, I think Shanghai Model 3 could at least double production with the existing factory, which is a big deal. But judging by the run rate we've seen from the Model Y there, the run rate could be even higher. I mean, as you'd expect, building a smaller car, using front and rear castings and structural battery pack, that there'll be a higher output per squared foot than the Model Y factory there. Of course, all dependent on the cell supply, which is what we think we've found. And I also wonder what the actual form factor will be for these cells at the new CATL factory. Will they be prismatic and use CATL's Chiling structural battery pack? Or will they be making 4680 cells for Tesla? Of course not multi-tab and not tri-battery electrode versions. BMW want 4680 cells, and CATL are building a huge factory in Hungary for BMW. So it's possible that factory will be making 4680 cells there. So if that one is, why not this one? That would mean that Tesla can get cell-to-vehicle structural battery packs, which would be best. It also means that Tesla can start having a more consistent form factor in the future, making it easier for them to integrate everything. Then this would also be compatible with Tesla's 4680 cells if Tesla wanted to offer a long-range version or performance version, which I so very hope they do, and hopefully with a 0 to 60 time under 3 seconds. I know 4680 ramp has been disappointing and not what we hoped, but I don't think Tesla are depending on all growth on this one cell either. Granted, it is mainly coming from China, which does face its own risks too. I'm just saying that the future of this company, or the stock price recovering next year, isn't necessarily solely dependent on the 4680 ramp. That is not our only hope. Tesla aren't just sitting around praying for 4680 progress. They're out talking to every other supplier possible and telling them to produce more batteries for them too. Thanks for listening. Please hit the thumbs up and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter and talk to me on Patreon.